What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Street, we're back in the building. Another match reaction. You guys can see it on the screens. 2-1 Liverpool down at Selhurst Park against Crystal Palace. Late injury time goal from Harvey. Elliot really did come with the Goku settings, saving the day as per usual, as Goku loves to do in Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, Harvey Elliott obviously with that injury time goal after Mateta had obviously put Palace ahead with a penalty. And then, of course, Liverpool then equalising with Mohamed Salah getting his 200th goal for Liverpool. Fantastic feat. We'll obviously take a little look at that later on in the video. But again, very late job from Liverpool, and that has obviously then culminating with the other games that have happened over the weekend in the last couple of days. That has then meant that Liverpool now top the table, but we'll look into all of that. We'll take a little look at that in the video. Make sure you smash a like, make sure you share, make sure you do subscribe to the channel. Let's get into it, man.
Through the lot, now you know I'm coming through. When the growth look good on you, best believe they wanna screw now. I've been trying to climb, devil threw me in the dark. Baby, don't be insecure, you can still go make a mark like blow. Could never let them drain my soul now. Blow. Table turning like doorknobs, wow. Blow. I think I'm about to set sail. I'm a walking, living legend, walking with my chest out. Life keep dealing me cards, I keep feeling it.
So yes, Liverpool, top of the league. Crazy, isn't it? Crazy. I don't think any of us saw that happening at the beginning of the season. I don't think we all were, well, I know some people did, and shout out to the people who, well, obviously the season's not done, but shout out to the people who obviously thought that Liverpool would obviously, be winning the Premier League, with everything that's kind of happened, etc., etc. I know we are only on game week 16. So of course it's one of those, no one cares about being top anytime, to be honest with you, unless it's the end of May, unless the season is done and dusted. But ultimately Liverpool end the match week, being top of the league. So that's always going to be, a plus point regardless of anything. And, talking about the game at the weekend, well, I mean, we'll get into a few things. You can see I'm tired. I'm tired, man. Liverpool will do that to you. That's what it's life. But Liverpool will do that to you. But in general sense, another game, another 3 points. That's the best I can probably say about it, if I'm being totally honest with you. Performance again, poor performance, but we've reached a point now where it doesn't even, it's not mattering. It doesn't really matter. It actually doesn't. We can sit here and obviously, of course, I'm going to analyze certain bits and, talk about certain little things and etc. when I'll do a little match rating as well for you guys. But ultimately, it doesn't even matter. I could give everybody a 2 based off that performance if I really wanted to. Do you know what I mean? But does it matter? When you get the 3 points? Nah, it doesn't. So I think it's just one of those ones, man. It's one of those ones. We are in a results business. Ultimately, if you can't get the 3 points, then, it's like it doesn't really matter. We can play all the fancy football you want. We can do this and we can do that. But then if you don't get the 3 points, it really does not matter. So the fact that Liverpool are getting these victories, the fact that we are winning it late, the fact that sometimes we have to come back in games just like this one, the fact that we're having to constantly do that, I guess that's more of that's future Liverpool's problem. Do you know what I mean? That's what I like to say. That's future G's problem. That's not a problem that you got to deal with today, and you got to deal with the here and now, because ultimately Liverpool are getting the results that they need. There's so many different ways you could look at it, and so many tacticals, so many fans, analysis, all of this kind of stuff. We've all looked at it from so many different types of angles. And again, like I said, none of it even matters because they're getting the 3 points. So yes, we can do the hindsight thing, or we can do the Mystic Meg thing where we look into the future and it's like, oh, but this doesn't look right, or that doesn't look right. And you guys already know I'm always going to look at it, from that kind of perspective. But ultimately, like I said, it doesn't even really matter, man, because if they can continue getting these victories and, continue, showing that they can, even through poor performances, still able to get the 3 points, then that's all that matters, man. That's literally, all that matters. But as I said before, Harvey Elliot, Son Goku, Gohan, whatever the hell you want to call him, Kamehameha in his way to helping Liverpool get that injury time goal and obviously sealing the victory for us. Crystal Palace obviously went down to 10 men. Andre Ayew getting himself a second booking. I'll let you guys decide. I don't, something that you probably guess when I do these match reactions and stuff, I try not to really talk about too many of the decisions. Maybe the only one I would have spoken about really is that obviously that madness at Tottenham, the Spurs game. But even then, I don't really care about decisions and stuff like that. For me, I'm always like, let's talk about the football. Do you know what I mean? That's the only real thing that we all care about. Yes, decisions can play a part. I don't believe they play a full part in a game of football. I think there's more. Then, unless it's like the very last second of a game and the referee's done something mad, then of course. But if not, then you've got time to score goals. So I can't attribute, too many things to that one thing. But sometimes the game can turn on its head when a player does get sent off, as we've seen in other games, in other fixtures with other teams. And I believe in this one, it was the same kind of thing where, Crystal Palace had Andre Ayew sent off, and I think it just changed. Like as soon as they got sent off, I remember turning to Jerry at the game, and I said to him, "Yeah, Liverpool are definitely scoring." like before, I was like, we probably would score, and I think we'd be lucky to scrap a draw because I don't think we deserve the victory at all. But as soon as they had 10 men, I said, yeah, no, Liverpool are definitely scoring now. And depending on how early, and it was literally straight after they got a man sent off, literally within a minute, I think it was, or if not just a little bit longer than that, then of course they Mohamed Salah obviously getting his 200th goal for Liverpool, and then injury time we persevered, we pressed, we harassed, we annoyed, we pissed them off until we, of course, got that all important goal. So hats off to Liverpool again, persevering, man. That's definitely one thing I'll say about Liverpool is this season they are persevering quite a lot in games. Last season it's so difficult even to really judge last season because everything was just shit. Do you know what I mean? It kind of an anomaly, so to speak, but it happened ultimately. So, I guess we got to kind of speak on it. But, we weren't really coming back in certain games. If we was going to lose, we were going to lose. Confidence was low from basically everybody. Whereas this season, it's not really there, and I think there's more of a belief. I feel sorry sometimes for the opposition because if you don't really put Liverpool to the sword, and Fulham tried it and we still came out, 4-3 winners, which is mad. But if you don't put us to the sword with however you're playing, if you're playing better than we are and you don't dominate and you don't capitalize on that, should I say, then it's going to be peak for you later on, man, because Liverpool are more than likely going to score a goal. So, yeah, it's one of those ones, man. I mean, we've had so many poor performances this season, but we're still top. Do you know what I mean? We are now top of the Premier League. So there's something in that, man. There's something, whatever it is, whatever you want to call it, there's something in that. So, hats off to the boys for that. Definitely, man. Hats off to the boys. Let's go through match ratings instead. Let's do match ratings. All right, let's get this up for you guys. Okay. Hopefully you guys can obviously see it. Yeah, you can see it on your screens. Let me just make it a little bit larger. Cool. There we go. All right. So obviously this was the lineup for the game. Alisson obviously coming back from injury, taking his place back in goal. Tsimikas, Van Dijk, Kwanzaa. Now that was quite interesting. That was very different from Klopp because I thought he was going to go with a Konate potentially. Obviously, he ended up bringing Konate on the pitch, but I thought he was going to go with Konate instead. But he went with Jarell Kwanzaa alongside Van Dijk, and then obviously Trent at right back. Big decision for him. Obviously, we'll get into his rating and stuff like that. But I felt like that was a big decision. Massive trust in him. Also, maybe as well, when we're looking at it, I also believe it's a case of not really trusting Konate. That's something that definitely we'll speak about at another time. But yeah, Konate for me at the moment is showing that he's not someone who can realistically be trusted. If I'm being totally honest with you, in terms of being able to play consecutive games and stuff like that. So obviously injuries, he's always breaking down and stuff. So it's a bit of a tricky one with him. But ultimately, he played him. He played Kwanzaa anyway. Endo starting. A lot of people, myself included, wanted him to start this game. Felt like his performance warranted it. So he Klopp clearly thought the same thing. So he's played Endo, Gravenberch. Obviously McAllister being injured. And Curtis Jones obviously was on the bench. So again, Gravenberch, the midfield really, to be honest, I felt like that was a fine midfield. Obviously, Szoboszlai in there as well. I felt like, why not? Do you know what I mean? That seems like probably the most appropriate, especially in a game like this as well, where you probably felt that Liverpool would have a bit more dominance within the game. So that kind of made sense. Front three. So it was the front three: Luis Diaz, Darwin Núñez, Mohamed Salah. I would have obviously gone with Gakpo instead of Núñez, but he's gone with Darwin Núñez instead. Diogo Jota's obviously injured. Diaz is obviously going to keep his place, and then, of course, Mohamed Salah trying to get that 200th goal, which we know he obviously ended up getting. So yeah, that was kind of the team. Like I said, I wasn't too fussed with Kwanzaa. Not to say I was fussed with it, just more of a, okay, fair enough. You're playing Kwanzaa, do your thing. But not to say I was annoyed with it or anything like so. But ultimately, that was the team. Now, if we go to rating, so Alisson, I'll give him an 8 for just now, just to put it there. I honestly don't know what more to say on the guy. Saved Liverpool again. Saved Liverpool from defeat again. He is the reason why. I'll even get this if I can get this up now. Perfect. Look at this. So this is from since the start of last season, right? Most goals prevented XG, right? Now, this is just one stat. This is just one measly stat. So this isn't going to be an overall judgment, would I say, on Alisson and on just goalkeepers in a general sense. But it's a stat. It's a stat. And it was an interesting stat when I saw it. So since last season, Alisson plus 11.3 XG. Burnley, obviously, is the next one up. This is obviously current Premier League goalkeepers, plus 8.1. Thomas Kaminski, 4.8. And Neto, 3.3. Jordan Pickford, 2.9. Andre Onana at 2.8, which is quite interesting considering he only obviously just joined Manchester United. But it's just crazy for me. And again, like I said, this is just one stat. This isn't, for me anyway, this isn't one of those stats where I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm gonna judge all keepers, like this, or I'm gonna say, oh yeah, every keeper, is this, or this isn't really to judge. This is more just to show you, the sheer fact that how important, in my opinion anyway, how important someone like Alisson Becker actually is, and it's becoming quite dangerous how important he is to the team. And the reason why I say that is because, again, look, it's not a problem. I've got no beef with your goalkeeper being, a massive part to your team. I've got no beef with, your goalkeeper, being someone who saves you in certain situations, and all of this kind of stuff. I've got absolutely no issue, whatsoever with that. The problem I have is that we reach a situation whereby, when I'm looking at goalkeepers in a general sense, and I'm talking about the elite goalkeepers of the past, so we'll talk about the yesteryear ones. And maybe there's obviously like people like Courtois obviously still playing, Oblak at once upon a time and stuff like that. Olivier Kahn, Manuel Neuer, Peter Schmeichel, Peter Cech, whoever, David Seaman, whoever, all of these guys, whoever is you, Iker Casillas, whoever you want to put in there as your best goalkeeper of all time, Alisson, in my opinion, gets thrown into that debate. Where he is in that debate, I don't know. Whether he's number one, I don't think so, but he's definitely in the debate somewhere, and it's up to you wherever you want to put him. My problem with him and it's not even his fault. My issue is that with all of those keepers that I'm talking about, so the Schmeichels, the Peter Cechs, the Olivier Kahns, the Iker Casillas, the Courtois, the not even, and let me even take away the Courtois, Black, and I'm going to get to the reason why. But even I do think that Courtois is obviously one of the best goalkeepers in the world. The reason why I've always felt that these guys were like not Buffons, that these guys were like number one and whatever, is because when they were called upon, which was very rarely, but when they were called upon, they would be able to do the world-class saves and, the last minute saves, the penalty save, all of these things. And again, like Alisson does the exact same thing. Just need to reiterate that before people start killing me. The problem that I've got right at this moment is that Alisson is the only one that I can think of off the top of my head that I'm seeing this week in, week out. Like, I'm not just seeing this in 1 or 2 games and then we don't see it at all, kind of thing. Like it was before, like 18-19 season, 19-20-ish, but more 18-19 season, where you're not being faced with so many shots and you're not being put under so much pressure. But when you are called upon, we all remember the game against Napoli in the Champions League, on the way to us winning the Champions League, the save that he made, that I saw that, I was like, oh my days, Alisson, amazing. Those, fantastic. And the fact that you can do that, amazing. I don't remember none of these other goalkeepers being called into question or being called upon this much, though. Like, I'm sorry, but I feel sorry for Alisson having to play in front of this, play behind, this team. I'm not even going to say just the defense, because it's not. We tried to defend as a team anyway, so I can't just blame the defenders. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And I think that's what kills it for me, is that as a team, it's embarrassing the way that we concede goals and chances left, right, and center. Like this Alisson saving it. We saw against Fulham that if it wasn't for the sheer luck of scoring these wonder goals, we probably would have lost that game. But we got away with it, blah, 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 not a problem, we move. But the sheer fact that we didn't have Alisson in goal kind of showed you, because Alisson might have saved a couple of them, blah, blah, blah. But any normal goalkeeper might, like an average or just a simple goalkeeper that most people have, they're probably not going to save those kind of chances. Again, not an issue. It is what it is. That's what he's there for. The fact that we've had to call upon Alisson so many bloody times it's mind-boggling, man. It's actually mind-boggling. And like I said, I feel sorry for the guy. I feel so sorry for him, because he's constantly conceding goals. And he, in my opinion, is probably our most valuable player in terms of, to the team, should I say. Not in terms of price, but just in terms to the team, he has to be our most valuable player, man. I can't even think of anybody else who's this valuable. I know Mo Salah, who's my guy, who's getting the goals, but I feel like Liverpool could score, just nowhere near the amount that we would score with Salah. But without Alisson, nah, Liverpool are not contending for. We'd be just about battling for top 4, kind of thing. Without Alisson, but whereas it'll probably be near enough the same if we didn't have Salah, but I still think that we would be more comfortable, would I say, in the top 4, as opposed to without Alisson. Nah, you'd be struggling to make that top 4, easily struggling. And like I said, I feel sorry for the guy, man, because the way that we've had to call him into question, I've never seen this before from any other the top guy. I've never said for Manuel Neuer, like, rah, man, this guy has to make save after save after save after save. He has to save his team every single week and blah, blah, blah. And, all of this kind of stuff. Like, I've never really had to, hear that and say that kind of thing. Iker Casillas, Peter Cech, like Peter Cech has only got like the conceded thing, obviously, again, because of the defense helping him out. We don't have to see him called into question. But guess what? You'd still know that he's a world-class keeper. Why? Because when he is called into question, boom, do you know what I mean? You kind of you see him pull off these, world-class saves and things like that. So yeah, that's kind of just my thing, with Alisson. But listen, in the game, pulled off some nice saves and stuff like that. Yeah. Overall, yeah, I thought an 8. Maybe could I push it to a 9? Could I push it to a 9? I'll give it 8.5. I'll give him an 8.5 in the game. Let's move on to Tsimikas. How was Tsimikas? I'll give Tsimikas a let me think. I'll give him a 6.5. Again, for me, it's just like steady Eddie in the game. okay going forward, but couldn't really get forward. Like, in fact, no, I'm gonna give him a 6 actually. Yeah, because going forward for me, he was okay, like okay, but yeah, defensively he was decent. Do you know what I mean? I didn't feel like they were trying to go down his side too much anyway. They were obviously more so going down Trent Alexander-Arnold's side, and that's where they were getting. They were finding danger. Yeah, I'd say it was above average. So I'll give him. No. Let's be kind. Let's give him a 6.5. Let's give him a 6.5. Van Dijk. VVD, Mr. Cool, Calm, and Collective. I'll give him a 7. I'll give him a 7. Of course, above average, another above average game from him. Obviously, gave away the penalty, which then got VAR, I think, checked that one, and then, of course, didn't give it. Outside of that, I felt like he was okay. Yeah. Like, I'm just trying to remember the game in itself. But yeah, I felt like he was okay. Do you know what I mean? I didn't really feel much danger, so to speak, with him. Did what he needed to do. And like I said, an above average performance. Kwanzaa, I'll give a 6. It was just about above average. I thought he was okay. Gave away the penalty, which is why I marked him down. That was very sloppy from him, if I'm being totally honest. But yeah, outside of that, I felt like he was okay. There were times where I felt like he needed to maybe open up his body a bit more when he's receiving the ball, to open up the angles to then help out people like Trent and stuff like that in certain situations. And also as well, just his kind of positioning at times when Trent obviously does his forays into the middle of the pitch and he's high and wide, when Trent does whatever it is he likes to do, when Trent's not there were times when I was looking at Kwanzaa and he just, no, I wouldn't say it didn't even look comfortable. It just looked like, again, he's not played that much there, so maybe he's just inexperienced, but he wasn't finding himself in good enough positions to allow us to be able to progress with the ball. You're standing right next to Van Dijk at times. Van Dijk's having to play a square pass to you. I'm thinking, if you need to start opening up your body, because now there's no angle for you. And guess what? They've closed that angle down now. So guess what? We're now going to have to play back to Van Dijk or back to the keeper and then try and keep the ball that way, when the reality is you should be opening up your body to be able to, give yourself that kind of angle to be able to pass the ball out, or even put yourself in better positions when Van Dijk does have the ball. Maybe just push up a little bit, to just create something. You know what I mean? Because at times we just weren't really doing too much, so sometimes you might just need that little bit of a spark, kind of thing. And I didn't really feel like he kind of did that. But defensively, in terms of his own duties, in terms of the defending side of things, I felt like he was okay. Again, another above average performance. So yeah, I would be calm with a 6. Trent, I would give him a 7 as well. 7 or 6.5. No, I'll give him a 6.5. A bit like Simicast, actually. I think I'll do that one. I think with someone like Trent, not to even say he wasn't poor. Again, these are all above average. Just everyone knows how I do my scores. So, yeah, above average performance, but not too much really going on. Was trying to be everywhere. He was picking up the ball. Most of his passes that I could see anyway, were just kind of going sideways or to the right hand side kind of thing, trying to play some of these Hollywood passes, not really coming off most of the time. Some were coming off fantastically. Look, from where we were sitting, some of them were coming off amazingly, but the ones that weren't coming off, I kept sitting there thinking, bro, you could have just played a simple pass. At times you didn't need to go and do that. Keep the ball, keep possession. We're not winning. We're not really playing well. We need a bit more of a spark, and I expect that spark, to come, from you, as you're one of the players to do so. So yeah, I felt like it was an okay performance. It was okay, but the reason why I won't go any higher is because they were attacking down that side quite a lot, and he was, again, because he does his thing and does his own thing, he was kind of nowhere really, to be seen. So, it is what it is. Endo will get a. Endo will get a. I have to give him a. It's either 4.5 or 5. Average. I'll give him a 4.5, man. Yeah, I thought he was kind of dead in this game, man. And I was so disappointed because I proper wanted him to play, but Yeah, nah, that wasn't it. That performance definitely was not it, in my personal opinion. The weirdest thing with someone like Endo is that, like, he will do the whole tackling thing and, you know, all of that kind of stuff, and you know, at times able to break up play, and I get that. I do generally get that, but as an overall, I just wasn't really feeling the performance from him, and the fact that he got hooked off at half time. Klopp was not feeling the performance as well. You know, let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it honest, because really and truly, even him there in the middle of the park, again, I almost felt like it was a case of, you know, the game was slowly was again just kind of passing him by. You know, he was late to certain challenges, he was late to the ball at times. You know, it was just one of those, and I just wasn't really feeling it, you know, when it came to, you know, Endo, and, you know, in that position, and that position so vital, you know, for Liverpool, you know, in terms of what we need, you know, going forward. And I just felt like it just wasn't really it, if I'm being 100% honest, you know, with you when it came to Endo. But, you know, it is what it is, man. Sometimes players have these kind of performances, so we just got to move. We just got to move. But yeah, that is Endo. Moving on to Gravenberch. Gravenberch, I would give a 6.5 from Gravenberch. I felt like he was trying to do things, especially in that first half. Um, Yeah, he was trying, man. He was trying. I could see some of the passing that he was trying to, you know, play into that final third, you know, trying to get Liverpool in, you know, and then obviously, of course, if the problem is then he's losing possession when he is trying some of these passes. So then it's like, bro, come on, man. You need to do better in certain instances. You know, you need to be a bit more smarter with some of the passes that you're trying to play. But then it's like, for the want of trying, I'm like, okay, cool. And in that first half, I felt like he was our best midfielder anyway. So, you know, I kind of gave him more of the score, more for that first half, until he obviously came off. I was a bit baffled when he did come off. I felt like Klopp maybe should have kept him on. I don't feel like Gakpo coming on didn't do anything anyway, to be honest. So it wouldn't have made any, you know, real difference. But, you know, he came off anyway. Still needs to try and complete 90 minutes. But, you know, maybe that'll come, you know, later on in the season. But yeah, again, typical nice little touches on the ball, can dribble, all of that good stuff. But yeah, I feel like 6.5 is a fair enough rating. Who we go on to now? Zabozalai. I feel like this one's kind of easy. Average game, 5. Another poor to average game from him. Whatever you want to call him, however you want to see it. To me, he was anonymous really in that game. I don't feel like you really noticed that he was even there half the time, to be honest. There was points actually in the game where you were like, where is Sabozala? Do you know what I mean? Definitely needs to pick up these performances, because these performances are becoming a little bit like, I know a lot of people got excuses for it, but yeah, I'm not really feeling, you know, most of these performance from Zabozalai, you know, recently. So, you know, it is what it is. We'll move on from him. Luis Diaz, easy 5. I don't know, Zabozalai and Salah. I don't know what one. The only difference is that Salah seems to be the only one scoring or assisting. But they're all just moving poor. Honestly, they are just moving super, super, super duper poor. And I'm not really feeling, again, Diaz's performances wasn't a threat, in my opinion, at all. Again, anonymous, wouldn't have even known that he was even there on the pitch at times. Can do the nice little touches here and there, but yeah, he definitely wasn't popping, in my personal opinion. Nunes, again, poor game from Nunes. Again, largely anonymous in the game. Couldn't really get into it. Got himself booked as well. Yeah, you know, touches, and again, look, I'm not even going to get too into him. I just felt like it was just a poor game, you know, from him. Salah, purely for the I would have given him a 5 as well, but I'll give him 6 for the goal. I thought it was an average performance again from Salah. Again, anonymous within the game. It's the goal that saved him. Obviously, got his 200th goal. He looked like he was really looking for it, but he wasn't a threat, in my personal opinion. Again, it's all well and good picking up the ball and doing all these nice touches and stuff like that, but nah, man, like it's you're not threatening anything. You know what I mean? You're not really doing, too much, in my personal opinion. And to be honest, Liverpool only really kicked into gear once like substitutes and stuff like that. So like when Jones and Harvey Elliott, kind of came onto the pitch, that's when I started to see, a bit more impetus from Liverpool, so to speak. But yeah, as a whole, I mean, you guys can look at the scores there. The highest obviously is going to be Alisson, then obviously Van Dijk next. I could have given Van Dijk maybe a bit higher, but I didn't see anything overly exciting enough to potentially do that. So yeah, those are my scores. Agree with them, don't agree with them. That's up to you guys. I'm not really too fussed in that regards. If I just stop sharing the screen, but taking a look here, obviously Mo Salah. Again, 327 games for Liverpool, 200 goals. That is an amazing, amazing, amazing feat from Mo Salah. Jurgen Klopp has now won more Premier League games versus Crystal Palace than he has against any other side during his time at Liverpool, which is 13. He has also never lost a game at Selhurst Park and only drawn one of those in that time. Liverpool have scored more winning goals in the 90th minute or later than any other team in Premier League history. 40% of these coming under Jurgen Klopp, 17 out of 43. And obviously, you can see, obviously, that's the 40%. 17 of those times have come under Jurgen Klopp. 43. Next is Arsenal at 32. Then Spurs at 31. Manchester United and Chelsea. Funnily enough, Man City are not in there. And I know a lot of people keep talking about this, and look, you can say mentality monsters and all that kind of stuff, and you can, and to a degree, I probably would agree with you. But at the same time, considering this is in Premier League history, and Liverpool have only won one Premier League title, it doesn't, for me, make for fantastic reading. Like, I don't look at that and think, oh, amazing. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. It's like a weird stat. It's one of those pointless stats that they put up. Like, I never feel like this isn't a good or bad thing. This is just a stat, in my personal opinion. I don't look at this and think, amazing, so to speak. I really don't. I don't look at that and think amazing, because if I'm being honest, I'd be happy having the 29 or 26 that, Manchester United and Chelsea have, because they've got more Premier League titles, than we do. Heck, Man City are not even on this list, so I'd rather be them. I don't care if we only had one goal coming in the 90th minute or later, if it meant I can get more Premier League titles. So it's one of them pointless stats, man. I dislike stats like this, because I just think it doesn't. Well, what are you trying to tell me with this? What does this mean, for me, especially because you're using the whole Premier League history. But it is what it is. Here's Klopp here saying they give the penalty. It's 1-0. They then give a red card and we score almost immediately. From then we played really well. And again, it just reiterates what I was saying, man. I don't want to go too into it and start criticizing the team too much. Ultimately, we are top of the league. And as people keep telling me, during this period, you just want to get the 3 points and you just want to kind of move on. And I understand that. I totally get that. And it's a difficult period because of the amount of games that you're obviously playing. But I'm just hoping the penny doesn't drop. That's all I don't want. I don't want to be sitting here, and saying, now look, I want to be sitting here, come what may, and it's like, okay, cool. You know what? Boom. This is what's happened now. We've played this way. We've been able to ride our luck, no problem. But it's now led to us winning a Premier League or winning the Europa League. Both, to be honest with you. I want to be sitting in that kind of situation. I don't want to be sitting in a situation where we said we used up all our luck, in that period of time. I really don't want that. I really, really don't want that. So I'm just hoping, it doesn't really get to that. But look, poor performance. We got the 3 points. We move on to our next game. These are our next fixtures coming up. We've obviously got United at Anfield on the 17th. Then we've got the Carabao Cup against West Ham, quarterfinal. And then we've got Arsenal. So 3 games at home. Let's hope we can get those 3 victories. Let me know, obviously, what you guys think in terms of our next few games. Let me know if you think we'll obviously get those victories. And then, obviously, of course, just let me know what you guys obviously think about the game yesterday. As a whole, in terms of the ratings, did you think the ratings were harsh? Did you think I was, being, a bit too much or whatever? As I said, we are top of the league at this current moment in time. So when we do start match week 17, we will be trying to hope that we can obviously stick to that come the 18th match. So yeah, let's hope we can obviously keep that going. Let me know, obviously, what you guys think in the comment section. I'm G and we are out.